Good evening, Tallahassee. I'm hoping that you have a great Thursday so far, and with FSU weather, it's going to be even better. So as you look over at Doak Campbell Stadium, it's just looking absolutely gorgeous as we get ready to see our beautiful signature sunsets. Right now we're at 73 with cloudy skies. So a very strong wind though, so hold on to your hats if I do say so myself. Now we do have some light rain coming in from the west, but it's only going to be isolated and scattered, so it's just going to be light and it's going to be moving out of the area, unlike what we saw yesterday morning. And then going into tonight, it's going to get down to 51 as we see that we had that cold front pass through, which brought on that torrential rainfall this morning actually. But nonetheless, it's going to be very nice and very sunny tomorrow. So if you need to go outside and study or finish a synoptic lab like I do, you're going to see me outside near the physics fountain. And as you see tonight, we're going to see that we're going to be warming up next week. We're going to learn about a flash flood and the safety precautions and our weekly Bird of the Week. All that and more on FSU Weather.
Happy Thursday. Thanks for tuning in tonight. I'm student meteorologist Elizabeth Temple.
And I'm student meteorologist Joy Loam.
And we had some wild weather last night come through.
Oh, we did. I heard it the entire night, and I have seen many videos of just cars being underwater, which is why it is really important to take flash flood warnings very seriously, which is a little spoiler for our weather what tonight.
Yeah, so we'll be talking about what is a flash flood and some of the safety precautions, but we're also going to be talking about some of the nice weather that is coming for the weekend, which will be a nice turn of events from what we had last night.
Right. It will be nice to experience some sun and not a lot of flash flood and rain. But Preston, could you tell us what is going to go on here in Tallahassee?
Yeah, we're going to take a look ahead. First, looking outside Doak Campbell Stadium, we can see the sun still pretty high up in the sky for this time of day. The days are certainly getting longer. Looking at our current temperatures, it's 73 degrees. It's been a little bit on the milder side today, but watch out for that breezy conditions. West winds about 23 miles an hour right now, so it's certainly been a breezy day, so make sure you got your trash cans. Watch out for them. They might blow away in those conditions. Looking around the entire Big Bend regions, we can see temperatures pretty much in the mid-70s across the board. You get down by the coast, certainly a little cooler. Apalachicola, 70 degrees. Definitely going to be on the cooler side. As we look at the dew points around the region, that cold front has moved through, so it's certainly dried us out some. Dew points in the mid-50s. Looks like Monticello is a little bit higher. Could be an error with the instrument there, but mid-50s otherwise across the board. So we're looking at drier conditions today. Certainly been a lot more better than last night. Looking at our temperature almanac, the average high temperature is 79. We're at 80 degrees, so we're right on track for that. The low today, only 71 because of all that rainfall overnight, really kept us warm on the overnight hours. A lot better than 31 in 1996 for sure. As we take a look at the radar, all that rain has pretty much worked its way out of the region. We can see that there's been a few returns you can see there, but nothing too significant to watch out for the rest of the day. It should be a clear evening in Tallahassee. Certainly looking forward to that after all the rainfall we had last night. And as we look towards the future, we can see those rain showers there pushing off towards the eastern counties. And not much to speak of after that. We don't see too many more clouds, the clear skies after we're going to have some high pressure work its way into the region after that cold front has moved through. So definitely going to be clear skies. We take a look at the weather overnight. It's going to be 51 degrees tonight and mostly clear skies, 11 mile an hour winds, so definitely going to be a good night. Maybe take a walk out by Legacy Fountain by Doak Campbell Stadium. Going to be absolutely beautiful. As we look at the forecast for the region tonight, mid-50s all around. Expect that warmer water to help out down along the coast. 58 degrees in Apalachicola, 57 in St. Mark's. So definitely going to be a nice mild temperature night to head out if you have any activities tonight. As we look towards tomorrow, the sun is really going to be out, and as we're getting into spring, make sure you start applying that sunscreen. The UV index probably be a little bit higher on the higher end tomorrow. Mid-70s, and we get towards the upper 70s down along the coast there. So definitely going to be a warmer day tomorrow. So we're looking forward to those warmer temperatures as we move into the late spring. Looking towards Friday, going to work its way into the mid-70s. So beautiful day, clear skies, not much to worry about. And as we look at the week ahead, we have that same trend. We're going to see mid-70s work its way into mid-80s as we hit next week. We're talking about 85 degrees, so it's certainly going to feel a lot warmer outside with that sun beating down. Maybe we'll even say it's starting to feel hot outside. So we'll talk more about that. But Josh, what can you tell us about what's going on in the rest of Florida?
That's right. So we are starting to see nicer conditions in the northern part of the state, but we're still going to have some remnants of that cold front that's working its way through, especially in Central Florida going through Orlando and Tampa. Speaking of Tampa, we are at 77 with cloudy skies there. Orlando is also cloudy at 79, but everywhere else, such as Panama City and Miami, is looking very nice. We are in the upper 80s in the southern part of our state, and we're actually in the, I would say, mid-70s to upper 80s as well in the Panhandle and northern part of our state as well. Now, as you see, we're going to be playing spot the cold front, and we see the sharp contrast is basically showing the cold front that's passing its way through the entire state, which is helping to bring in drier air, especially to the entire peninsula, along with nicer conditions. So as you see, we have this band of rain that has now finally worked its way south of Orlando, so it shouldn't give you any more delays out of MCO. But also, we will still have rain going through into the Treasure Coast as well. So that heavy rain could still be there. So if you're driving along I-95, just take your time and allow some extra time for going home. So we have that dry air intrusion essentially already working its way into Tallahassee, but it's going to continue going down into the rest of the state, essentially kicking this moisture out and preventing any storms that coming up this weekend, which will be very nice, especially after all the storms that we've seen, not only here in Tallahassee, but also across the state, especially over into Jacksonville as well. But the SPC outlook shows nothing for the rest of the day today. However, we will still see some rain, especially into the Treasure Coast area. We'll see a little bit more rain, but also we'll see rain going into South Florida as well, but nothing too heavy compared to what we're going to see around the Vero Beach area. So Miami is going to be looking absolutely gorgeous. We're going to get down to the low 80s just as a result of that cold front that is now pushing its way through. Again, we'll see a lower temperature tomorrow, but we'll rise back up to the low 80s as well by Saturday and Sunday. Orlando, same story. Mid-80s by Sunday, but very sunny skies. Indeed, I say go out to Disney World. Make sure to wear that sunscreen if you're going to Disney World or any theme park whatsoever. If you're going out to the beaches in Jacksonville, make sure to wear that sunscreen as well, as we will also get to the mid-80s by Sunday. And then Pensacola, we will have some cloud cover on Sunday, but nonetheless, we're just going to be seeing nice and sunny conditions all throughout the rest of the state, as you will see throughout the weekend. So tonight we're going to be getting down to 48 in Tallahassee, getting all the way down to 69 in Key West, which is quite a bit of a change in temperatures, but it's quite normal, especially for what we're seeing in spring. And then for tomorrow, we're just going to be getting down to a really nice, to the 70s in Tallahassee, 80s in South Florida. It's going to be absolutely gorgeous to go outside, go study, go to the beach. I know I'm planning to go to Panama City Beach. I 10 out of 10 recommend it, even though I've never been. But hey, I'm going to make sure to bring my friends to the beach, and we're going to have a good time. And I say you do that too, especially after you get done with all your work, because we all deserve it after we've been working hard this entire semester. Listen, these temperatures are what we dream of. I wish it could be all these temperatures like upper 70s, low 80s all year round, but eventually summer's going to come in. So enjoy this nice weather while I can before it gets super muggy outside and really uncomfortable. But anyhow, what's going on with the southeast?
I will let you know, Josh. Thank you. So let's just take a look. Here in Tampa, Florida, we can see clear skies after all those storms passed through the area. But in Atlanta, Georgia, they are still seeing remnants of that low pressure. So we have some pretty cloudy skies over there, 61 degrees. And down in Miami, pretty casual day, 86 degrees. And then up in Clemson, where the storm is starting to head towards 71. So we're going to focus a little bit more on that low pressure system as mentioned before, but first looking at temperatures, pretty windy here in Tallahassee and even into Jacksonville and Charleston. You could tell that is where our low pressure system was originally. We have all those wind gusts over here in New Orleans, 74, 72 up in Little Rock. So pretty summer-like conditions here in our region. And as our low pressure moves away from our area, you can see dew points starting to drop. 39 Jacksonville, and then in Tallahassee originally was 50, and then dropping all the way down to 42. And especially if you take a look at Atlanta, those drop even lower to like 38. So that moisture is leaving the area, and we can see there's our center of low pressure. It's starting to move into Tennessee, into North Carolina, and here's that cold front that's associated with that low. It's starting to move towards South Florida, but eventually most of it is going to end up in the ocean anyways. So the SPC did give an outlook here for some non-severe thunderstorms. So these storms will not bring the severe conditions that we experienced yesterday into this morning. So for the next 36 hours, that low pressure will move out of the region, and we have this high pressure system that's going to bring nice, comfortable conditions for our region. You may see some spotty showers up in Tennessee and some clouds, but overall it'll be a lovely few days. That 72-hour rainfall forecast, however, when that storm is progressing through our region, you could see up here about 2 inches of rain up like in Charlotte. So again, if you are in those areas, just make sure you have an umbrella if you are going out. But tonight it will be nice and comfortable, 48 degrees in Tallahassee, some clouds up in Charlotte due to that storm, but overall pretty lovely conditions to go out and enjoy your night. Down in Key West, 69 is pretty cool for what they usually have. And tomorrow it'll be nice and sunny as that high pressure system sits over our area. It will be a lovely day tomorrow. Although if you are in Miami, expect some clouds, which should be nice to shield yourself from that sun. So wear your sunscreen tomorrow if you are going out. And now I would like to talk a little bit more about that low pressure system that brought in all of those floods here in Tallahassee. So could you expand a little bit more about that?
Yeah, so we are going to be talking about in our Weather What segment today about what is a flash flood, as I'm sure many of us were woken up last night by that alert on our phones.
Yeah, so flash flooding is basically any type of flooding that comes on really quickly. So the National Weather Service uses the criteria of it sets on within 6 hours, and usually it's within 3. It just happens when a lot of rainfall gets dumped on one area in a really short period of time. So depending on the topography and vegetation and stuff like that, the amount of rainfall depends on the certain area. But when one area is seeing a lot of rainfall in one period of time, it can certainly lead to those floods we saw last night.
Yeah, we saw lots of photos from all across campus, which we will get to shortly. But here is a diagram of that. So we'll see those storms will intensify and drop lots and lots of rainfall. And when there's those depressions in the ground, that's when we'll see that clogging of some of the drainage. And that's what causes a lot of these really quick flash floods.
So last night you might have been woken up by a flash flood emergency, actually. So these are pretty rare events. Only the second ever that's been issued in Leon County. The first was back in 2014. And these basically happen when there's a flash flood warning that the National Weather Service thinks really needs to be put out to the public to know that conditions are turning really dangerous really quickly. And we saw that last night when a storm system is staying over one area for a long period of time, like it did last night over here in Tallahassee, and several areas across the southeast saw a lot of rainfall last night.
Yeah, so here's a graphic of some of that rainfall accumulation. You see that that some places, like in Valdosta, they got about 10 to 15 inches of rain. I know in Tallahassee, at the National Weather Service, they got around 7 inches, but at some other stations, they got almost 10 and a half and 11 inches, which is a lot of rain, especially since we've been kind of in this drought, at least from this past fall and winter.
Yeah, all that rain at one time can certainly have some impacts. As we see here a picture of the Emily Loop neighborhood from this morning, we can see that the water almost up to the levels of those homes there on their doorsteps, and that's not the way you want to wake up with water at your doorstep. So certainly a lot of impacts there.
No, absolutely not. We had to cancel some, well, not we, but the school district had to cancel one school today, and that's because we also had some washed out roads. This is off Sir Richard Road off Highway 20. You see that road was just washed out completely.
Just quickly, the difference between a flash flood warning and emergency, the same kind of weather event, except a flash flood emergency is for those really extreme situations where catastrophic damage, we can see those roads washed out and water moving in really quickly. And you see it's mostly dried out in a lot of places, so that just shows how quickly these flash floods can happen.
Yeah, exactly. And so, Preston, that system is moving offshore. What else is going on in the National?
So as we look out across the rest of the country, we can see that, as we'll bring it to the board here in a second, there it is, we'll see that mostly across the country, we have cooler temperatures across the central portions of the country. And then as we look down towards the southeast where we are now, we can see that we have temperatures in the mid-70s, and down in Miami, 86 degrees, so certainly warmer. Up in the northeast, it's been a cool one. 47 degrees up in Boston and 56 in Bismarck, 47 up in Boston. So it's quite a variation of temperatures, and that low pressure system that brought us all that rain is causing that variation. We can see the dew points, really dry air across the central portions of the country. Out in the desert, 16-degree dew point in Albuquerque. And it's not quite reached down to Miami yet, 72 degrees down there in the southeast. So it's still pretty warm, moist conditions. But we see that low pressure system. We can see it spinning right here in the mid-Atlantic states, centered over Virginia, West Virginia, bringing a lot of rainfall to those regions. That brought us all that heavy rainfall. We look at the water vapor energy, and the big thing we can see here is all that dry air that's sweeping down from across the north and then moving in, being swept up into that low pressure system. So that's what's giving us the dry conditions we have in Tallahassee right now. So that's certainly helped us dry out today from all that rainfall overnight. You can see those still rainfall. It's starting to move off the coast now, so that's going to be a relief for those who are suffering from those flooding issues. But on the flip side of the coin, the drought monitor, we can see that some places out in the west are still struggling with drought. We have an exceptional drought actually here in southeastern New Mexico and western Texas, so that's certainly been an issue for them as they look to manage their water supplies. Also up here in near the Great Lakes, just west of Chicago and northern Missouri, we also have seen some issues with drought there. But not here in Tallahassee after all that rainfall. We look at the future rainfall. That low pressure system is going to continue to bring rain to the northeast. We see areas Pennsylvania through New York, and then especially up in Canada, near Ontario, in that area, we're going to see lots of rainfall still to come for those regions. And we also see some rainfall out in the western portions of the country. Don't want to forget about California. Not seeing a lot of, you don't usually seeing a lot of rain, but we look as we head towards Sunday, we're going to see Los Angeles, San Francisco, we're going to see probably over an inch of rainfall. So they need to be prepared for that. In the northeast, we'll zoom in a little bit. We'll look at all the rainfall we have up there. We see locally higher amounts of approaching 2 inches or over that. As we move into New York City and the metroplex there, we see 2 inches of rainfall amount. So certainly going to see a lot. We zoom into California actually. That's where we're going to see that places as all that moist air hits the mountains. First, the coastal mountains brings a lot of rainfall towards San Francisco, and then it gets into the Central Valley, and then it's going to hit the Sierra Nevadas. And that lifting air, that's going to cause more rainfall in those regions. So Northern California looks to be the target for those highest rainfall amounts and along the coast with amounts around 2 inches. Looking at the excessive rainfall outlooks, this is basically just the risk of flooding today. We can see a slight risk, so that's 2 out of 4. We can see that there is a slight risk through areas in southeastern Ohio, so Athens down there, and central West Virginia, so we have Charleston, areas like that. Also eastern Kentucky, so regions in there. Watch out for the chance of excessive rainfall today causing flash flooding. Also a chance up in Maine as we look into tomorrow, and also in New Hampshire and Vermont. Then out in California, just a marginal risk as that rain hits those regions that aren't used to this much rainfall. As we look at our snowfall forecast, not much happening, but then we do see a little bit up in Canada. Don't expect too much snow here stateside. Maybe a little bit in northern Pennsylvania and New York. You can pick out a spot there, but not a whole lot of snow. But we're seeing accumulations approaching 5 to 8 inches. As we look at the storm outlook, that's where day one, we can see that there's enhanced risk here in eastern Ohio and West Virginia for severe thunderstorms. And as we move forward, day two, that system moves off, so we just have a general thunderstorm risk, but a marginal out here in Idaho and Oregon and Nevada. Day three, we see that there's just general thunderstorm risk, no severe thunderstorm risk, but also keep in mind coming Tuesday, they do expect a possible storm outbreak in the central parts of the country. Temperature outlook, going to be cooler in the northwest and warmer down in the warmer down here in the southeast over the next couple of days. As we look through the night, cooler temperatures as that cold front has moved past. And Joy, what can you tell us about the bird of the week?
I will let you know what our bird of the week is. Spoiler alert. It is a super cute bird. I actually love this bird. I'm so excited. Once the picture loads, I don't want to spoil it. Oh, here it is. It is the northern flicker. It's such a cute, large brown woodpecker. You can see like those cute specks. And it's a great way to spot it. If you look up in the sky and you see them flying, you can see like a flash of color. So these birds are woodpeckers, so they do like to hammer on trees. And they are strongly migratory, so they will migrate during the winter, but they do live all across the United States during the year. And of course, like most woodpeckers, they drum on objects as a form of communication and territory defense. And so as I mentioned, these birds do live all across the United States, but they do tend to live, at least in Western America, they do live on mountains. So we're gonna look at Boulder, Colorado here. Right now in Boulder, Colorado, it is 63 degrees and sunny with a nice breeze of 10 miles per hour. And unfortunately, our temperature almanac is not working for Boulder, but I'm sure it's just a lovely day in Boulder, Colorado. And you can see that here across this entire region, 61 in Boulder, 57 in El Vado. It's pretty nice for these birds to fly around, gather their food. They tend to gather their food from the ground. They like to eat ants and beetles. So it's a lovely day to gather food. And if we currently look at what's going on in terms of rain, absolutely nothing. So there will be no rain hindering these birds from getting their food. However, because there's a high pressure system, we do have some fire weather conditions. So the little breeze could bring about fires that could harm the birds' trees. So those birds better watch out and take part in fire safety. And during our future, again, nothing really going on here in Boulder, Colorado. Absolutely clear, except for a couple of pop-up clouds. But as we go into Monday, we could see some storms as some critical severe conditions could occur throughout the entire Colorado area. 50% chance of rain with 47 degrees. These birds could have to fly during the rain. But overall, for the rest of the weekend, it should be a nice and lovely day in Boulder, Colorado for these birds to gather their food. So I hope you enjoyed seeing how cute these birds are, because I do love them. But I would like to know what the birds would do here in Tallahassee for our lifestyle.
Honestly, the birds would just be enjoying the sunshine that's finally here and staying for the weekend, especially across Panama City Beach, Panama City in general, but also at Lake Bradford as well. It's going to be looking absolutely gorgeous, and the birds will just be enjoying it and definitely living it up compared to what they were dealing with last night, as they had not the best slumber. And I feel for them, because I did not have the best slumber either because of the weather. But now with all this nice weather that's coming in, we're hanging around 73 at Bainbridge, 74 in Tallahassee. We're a little bit cooler at the coast, mainly at 70 at Apalachicola. A little bit windy, but otherwise it's looking absolutely gorgeous throughout the rest of the day. So as you see, we're going to be having dew points in the 60s in the central part of our region, and getting outwards, it starts to dry off a little bit into the mid-50s. But nonetheless, it's going to feel a lot better unless you're going to be outside for a while. And otherwise than that, you're just going to want to make sure you drink some water. But as always, we'll be going to talking about Tallahassee International. It's no delays whatsoever. Although if you see, we're going to actually see some delays out of New York, mainly because there's actually some air traffic control, air traffic that's over the New York airspace. So because of that, that's just going to be causing a lot more delays, as they're just trying to relieve some of that air traffic that's happening over there. So besides that, if you're going to be flying out of JFK, LaGuardia, Newark, just expect some extra time. So tomorrow is going to be 77 with a strong breeze, but that should help us cool us off a little bit, as we still will have to deal with some of that humidity. But it's not going to be too bad. Although if you're going to take your dog out for a walk, I'd say go around 9 a.m. because if you go around 10 a.m. or after, it's going to be a little bit hot, and you're going to likely deal with the sun's rays when it's most likely going to burn you. So I say go around 9 a.m. for sure. Well, if you're going to have to worry about that pollen, the grass is going to be high. Make sure you take your allergy medicine, take your nasal spray. Just do it for yourself. You'll feel so much better playing sports tonight. You're definitely going to want to go out You're definitely going to want to go outside and play. Although make sure you keep an eye on that ball. And if you're going to go out with some friends, make sure you bring a light jacket if you get cold easily, as you will still have that breeze. But nonetheless, it'll be feeling absolutely gorgeous outside. So Elizabeth, what's happening around the rest of town?
Well, as we look at the camera from the res right now, beautiful skies out there, just some clouds right now. It is currently 73, and we do have a west-southwest wind at 23 miles per hour, so generally very gusty outside, but very beautiful temperatures as well, generally sitting in the mid-70s. We do have 77 in Valdosta and 69 in Sumatra right now, but just in general, 74, 75 is what we're seeing for our Big Bend cities. And our dew points, we are starting to dry off a little bit after that front made its way through in the mid to upper 50s for our dew points. It is a little bit more moist down by the coast, though. I mean, just because in Apalachicola, we do have that wind that is slightly coming off of the water right now. But generally, very gusty winds. We'll see that upper level trough continue to make its way through, and that's why it's feeling very, very breezy right now, but it is going to make it feel very nice outside just because that sun is starting to peek its way out. Not too much to discuss on the radar right now, just a few more pop-up showers as we will continue to see that low pressure system move out of our area. So for tonight, it'll start to clear up, and Friday morning, beautiful conditions all the way into Friday evening. Not a cloud in the sky tomorrow, so a very nice day in comparison to what it was today. And here is our day planner. We'll see our high at around 6 p.m. It'll be 75, but beautiful skies throughout the whole day, so it's a great day to get outside, and it's a great day if you're heading home this weekend. It'll be a beautiful day to have those windows down, have that sunroof open. We will get into the mid-70s by the afternoon. And this weekend we do have the FSU Flying High Circus, excuse me. It'll be 70 at 7 p.m. tomorrow night at the circus tent, so make sure to get out and support that, since there is only a couple more weekends left to see that. If you're heading to see our baseball team play Miami tonight, that'll start at 7 p.m. and make sure to go Noles, boo Miami. It'll be 72 once that game starts. For tonight's forecast, we'll sit in the mid-50s, just in general, a bit warmer down by the coast, but 53, 54 degrees is what we're going to be seeing for the rest of the area. And for the rest of the weekend, beautiful conditions. We won't see those rain chances increase by much, and we'll be near 80 by Monday, so very nice. And those low temperatures as well will generally stay in the 50s and 60s, so it'll be a very nice day to, it's a very nice weekend to get out and enjoy this nice weather before it gets too hot. Now, Preston and Josh, how are we going to wrap up the show?
Well, I think we are getting close to the weekend here, so maybe we talk about what our plans are for this upcoming weekend. The weather's finally starting to warm up and getting really nice outside, so do you have any big plans for the weekend, Josh?
Honestly, I'm just going to be finishing my synoptic lab and then studying for dynamics. But next weekend, it's going to be fun as anything, because we have the AMS banquet, and also I'm going to be taking my friends, you included, to PCB.
I'm very excited to head down to Panama City Beach. I also have that synoptic lab to work on. Thankfully, no dynamics exam. Wrapped up with the exams till finals.
Yeah.
But weather's nice. Excited to go down to the beach. It's definitely going to be great weather for it as we move here into later spring. Hopefully the weather stays nice and we avoid any more of that excessive rainfall like we saw last night.
Yeah, I'm just hoping we don't have to see any more of that excessive rainfall, and also avoid any flooding, because we do not need that. And also, I'm just excited to see, to just go to the beach and relax. But follow us on Twitter at twitter.com/FSU weather.
Also, make sure you follow us on Facebook at facebook.com/FSU weather.
Make sure to also watch us live on YouTube, as you are doing right now, at youtube.com/FSU weather.
And also make sure you follow us on Instagram at FSU weather. And also look us up on TikTok at FSU weather as well.
Yeah. This is student meteorologist Josh Millay.
And I'm student meteorologist Preston Grooms.